Hello everybody and welcome to another edition of As the Crow Flies Hiking. In fact, I'm reopening, I'm kind of schizophrenic with this, I'm reopening As the Crow Flies Hiking, Old Crow Hiking Show, because I got to spend the week with Pax-A-Lot in Utah. We did Temp.
Yep.
We did Kings Peak, as we did the Uintas.
Uinta Highline Trail.
I kept saying Uintas. It's the Uintas Highline Trails.
Yeah.
Been here for a week.
It was an epic week too.
Man, it was awesome.
Sure. Good memories made on that trip. It was awesome.
It was, and so we wanted to talk about just a little bit with the Old Crow Hiking Show. He agreed to talk about some of his adventures and answer the questions. You okay with that, Steve?
Oh yeah, heck yeah, let's do it.
So it's Steve,
yeah, right?
heck yeah, his catchphrase. We are actually in a location where you can see
over here,
there it is. Mount Timpanogos.
Let's see, right there at the tip of my finger.
Right there. We were over there a week ago, so let's talk about it. Your channel's Pax-A-Lot.
Yes.
How did you get into backpacking?
So when I got into backpacking, other than the little bit I did in high school with my high school buddies, that went by the wayside, and I really didn't get into backpacking heavily until my oldest son was in the youth groups in the church that we're in, and they had a plan to go to Kings Peak, which we did. And I wanted to be part of that, so I purchased a backpack and got all the heavy bulky gear that you could get, so I could be with him on that trip, and it was an epic trip. And ever since then, even Christy, my wife, she wanted to get into it as well. After me doing Kings Peak with Miles, my oldest son, on that trip, she was excited, and ever since then we just been doing our backpacking. And because I got the big heavy bulky gear, Pax-A-Lot.
That's how you got the channel started?
That's the channel name, and because I pack a lot.
And so in your channel, you've done all kinds of hikes in northern Utah and southern Utah,
yes.
Right? And I've learned since I've been out here that that's two different things.
Oh, yeah.
Northern Utah, talk about that, in southern Utah.
Yeah, so northern Utah is more of the mountainous regions like you see here. You get the high elevation, 10,000 feet and above. We also have the desert regions out west and down south in southern Utah. That's a lower elevation. But it's full on desert, sandstone, cedar trees, sagebrush, slot canyons. Your big 5 national parks are in the state, Zion and Bryce Canyon, all of those popular ones that you see a lot of photos and in books and magazines and Backpacker magazine and everything. Yeah. Just a lot of popular places to go in Utah. It's kind of where everybody comes to recreate, I guess.
Since you're kind of located here in central...
Yeah, we're kind of in central Utah, so we have access to everything. Within a 4-hour drive, we can be anywhere in Utah and access all of those environments, high elevation, low elevation, desert, mountain, etc.
What would be your favorite destination or hike that you would say is your favorite?
Well, I have to do one for each. Okay, so my favorite obviously is the high Uintas of Utah. I love that place. It's the only mountain range that runs east to west in the Rocky Mountains, and it goes across the top of Utah, and you got to experience that this week. It was an amazing trip. So that Highline Trail is probably number one on the northern part of the state for me. And on the southern part of the state, Angel's Landing in Zion National Park. It's very popular trail worldwide, and that's probably one of my favorite hikes down there. You saw some video on it.
It's amazing.
It's cliffs both sides, and you're hiking down the narrow path. It's pretty scary but fun.
All right, Steve, let's talk about some of all your interests, because you don't just do backpacking, and I've learned in this last week that that's probably not your biggest passion. Is it backpacking? I mean, I know you love backpacking, but you backpack to what?
I backpack so I can go to those backcountry lakes off trail, away from everybody, to catch those brook trout in those high Uinta lakes. I absolutely love that. We even got you a hold of one of those big old brookies, didn't we?
Yes.
And a big cutthroat too.
Yeah, and it's just, I forgot, as a kid, that passion of getting a fish on, but then the extra benefit, and I see kind of what you mean, the passion of it, is cooking that out there on the trail, right?
Fresh on the fire. Put it in the tin foil, lemon, pepper, butter, roll it up, drop it on the coals, and eat it fresh right there on the spot.
That was one of the highlights of the trip for me, being able to eat fresh brook trout on the trail at least a couple times. All right, so what I've learned about coming to Utah to hike over this past week is you can get up to high elevations and you got to be prepared. You talk to me about being prepared. What do you, if somebody is watching this video and they want to come out to Utah to hike, what do they need to think about?
If you're going to go to the high Uintas or a high elevation area, pretty much anywhere, not just Utah, but Colorado and the other areas that have high elevation mountains, you got to be ready for those sudden thunderstorms. They come in, and you typically in the afternoon, you know, you get the hot days, and then come around 11 a.m., noon, 1 o'clock, man, those clouds just start to develop and bam, it hits you. And
Yeah.
we found that out.
We found that out. Yeah, we got in a situation in went from 75 degrees to 40 degrees,
In
hail,
15 minutes.
lightning, thunder,
Like that.
and luckily, because of your survival skills, I was able to avoid
Yeah,
being,
you ever seen a crow shake? he was shaking.
I was a little nervous. So along with that, have you had a scariest moment on trail?
I have, and it was, again, one of those thunderstorms. I was up hiking the high Uintas with my oldest son, and we got up to this lake called Lake Hesse, and it's about 10,500 feet is the elevation of the lake. And we saw those storm clouds coming in, and we were like, oh boy, we got to hunker down. And the lightning starts striking close, like flash, boom, like close, like right on you. Just so scary. And you're up there in high elevation, you're right there at the clouds. You could be struck any minute. It's just so scary. We just say our prayers and cuddle up in the fetal position. Yep. And just, oh, please. Anyway, we had that. I've done that a couple times with Christy as well on other trails.
Yeah, and you basically told us be prepared for all 4 seasons, because the high Uintas has basically a window you can hike it, which is what?
Usually Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's your window of hiking the high elevation of the Uintas. It's a seasonal road. They close it in the fall, and they open it again in Memorial Day weekend, typically, depending on the snowpack that year. But that's the window of opportunity you have to hike those high elevation areas.
And you mentioned that you hike with your wife, Christy, and I got to meet Christy. What a wonderful person she is. Other than Christy, if you had to hike with anybody, dead or alive, who would it be?
Oh, I'd have to say my oldest son, Miles.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to hike with him. He absolutely loves the outdoors, and it's just such a pleasure to be with him on those outdoor trips, just to see the smile on his face when he's catching those big brookies. And we're just having a time of our lives, seeing the wildlife and everything.
And I've just enjoyed my week out here. I've never seen, it is my #1 favorite trail of all time, the
Awesome.
Highlands. The Highline Trail, that's where I saw it on that documentary.
Yep.
And you went to the premiere of the documentary, right?
Yep, went to the premiere of the documentary in Salt Lake, downtown Salt Lake City. At the Salt Lake Library, they had the premiere. All the makers of the film showed up for that event. I don't know if they were all there, but some of them were there. And it was an amazing documentary that highlights the trail beyond more than just showing the trail. They kind of give the history of the area and the trail itself. So
I got one last question for you.
Oh boy.
Well, it's kind of a 3-part question.
Okay.
So I always ask everybody, what's your favorite book, TV show, and movie?
All right.
If you have one, if you're into any of that.
All right. I've been thinking about the book.
Okay.
I do have a favorite book. It's Butterfly Kisses. It's just a children's book.
Yeah.
But my daughter, we used to do the butterfly kisses every time when we'd put her to bed at night, and it was just awesome.
Awesome.
And the movie, you said movie?
Yeah.
It's got to be Tombstone or Shrek. It's a toss-up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm into those animated humor. It's pretty funny stuff.
I'm an onion. I'm an onion peel.
Yeah, ogres are like onions. They have layers.
They have layers.
Yeah.
Deep movie for just being a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
All right.
TV series,
Yeah.
got to be The Alone Show. Love it.
Alone. You and I had that in common.
Yep.
I think we've talked about that, and we used some of those skills this week
We had
as
to.
we were huddled under his tarp. He was able to get a fire going with hail and rain going, and able to keep me and Jay-Ben Hikes from freezing our tails off out in the Uintas.
And me too. I was starting to get the shakes as well.
So you've got the skills for that show. If you ever want to go on it, I think you can make it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, that's about all of the questions that I had for you, Paxton. I appreciate you doing it.
Yeah.
And again, appreciate your hospitality for allowing us to come out here. Ever since I saw the Highline movie and we talked about it, I think it's been 2 years we talked about doing this trail and doing Temp. please check out Pax a Lot. There's his channel. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching As the Crow Flies Hiking in this episode of Old Crow Hiking Show. Probably won't be any more, Pax. I think I've got to end it with you, but I had to do one more.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it very much.
Thanks for coming out, and thanks for Jeff with J-Ben Hikes to come out as well. It was awesome. It's been a pleasure.
We'll do it again sometime.
All right, sounds good. Maybe in your home turf.
Come to Alabama. I'll show you Cheaha. A little bit lower elevation though.
Okay, I might be able to out-hike you then, because you were out hiking me on this trail.
All right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next show or adventure of As the Crow Flies Hiking.
Awesome, thank you.
You know what I'm impressed by? We'll see a lake, and Pax will have his pack off and line in the water in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
But he is a professional at fishing, I'm telling you.
I love it. Love it a lot.
For me, it's all or nothing. I'm either gonna catch a fish on the first cast or nothing for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Let's go see if we can catch some brooks.
Right on.